Hi there, welcome back. It's Erica from Ever Educating here, and today I wanted to focus on an object that I use all the time to help keep myself on track. And that's what many people use to do so, a planner or a bullet journal, or just a notebook that you use to keep track of your events and your projects. I've used quite a few types throughout my years as a grad student, and so I thought I'd kind of share the types that I've used and which ones I would recommend and what that I wouldn't recommend. And so there's actually quite a few options in this video, so let's get started immediately. All right, so I thought it best to start with our paper planners, and then we'll move on to digital planners and notebooks. And there's different types of physical planners that I've used, and the first type is what's called a bound planner. And so in this case, this is a passion planner. It's a large size. There is a smaller size than this. And I like this planner a lot because of how it's structured. I'm not a fan of how it's bound and you can't move around the pages, which I'll show you later is possible in two other types of planners. But here is a passion planner. And if you open it up, some things I really like about it is that at the beginning of each month, you'll see this page, this monthly reflection. And so you have 6 questions about thinking about what was most memorable about the month, what were your big 3 lessons learned, what are you grateful for, etc. And so I really like that it has this built in to the beginning of every month, so you can look back and say, okay, this went well, this could be improved, I accomplished these certain things. So there's a lot of this in the planner, these elements of reflection that I really enjoyed. Again, it was the actual format of the planner itself, the bound nature of it, that didn't work for me. So you start at the beginning of every month with these 2 pages. And then just to give you a look behind, here's the month of May. And so there's personal projects and work projects, and priority as well as due dates. You have the regular whole month at a glance, your focus, people to see, places to go, not to-do list. And you have here the break it down, create a mind map of this month's game changer. And so I do like these elements that come with the monthly view. And then the month itself has a vertical layout. And so you have half-hour segments. And again, I don't plan on an hourly basis, so that didn't work as much for me. I actually covered the numbers with washi tape in order to decorate my planner. So you have the week at a glance from Sunday to Saturday, and the personal to-do list and the work to-do list. And again, a place to doodle or to mind map, whatever you want to use it for. And so you have the focus and good things that happened. There's quotes on every week, which I liked as well. And so this just continues on for the whole month. Before you hit the next reflection. There are some reflective pages at the beginning of the planner as well, but I've already written those, so I'm not going to show it here. Also to keep in mind is when you do buy your planner, you get access to digital versions of it as well, which you can use in your iPad or your tablet or your computer. So that's something to keep in mind too. You almost get the 2-for-1 when you buy one of these planners. And so again, that's the passion planner. I definitely liked it. It was a bit too big for me to travel around with easily. Again, I do not plan by time of the day, so that didn't work out well either. I had to cover that every single week. And I like being able to move around my pages, and this planner did not let me do that. But that's one option for you if you do like this style. Another option is getting a smaller planner than the passion planner. So in comparison, as you can see, it's much smaller. And this one again is bound, but I did like the cover, so I thought I'd give it a try. All right, decorating it. As far as this layout, this particular brand comes with a lot of different layouts and colors inside. So if you see here, the back cover. But you have the month at a glance here, some notes, and you can see behind a month and ahead a month as well. And then inside here is a horizontal planner rather than a vertical planning scheme. So you have your notes for this week, the days of the week, note section, and once again, some extra information here, top priorities, doodling, small victories, and what's upcoming next week. And so if you like horizontal planners as something to keep in mind versus vertical layouts. And I'll have links to all these planners in the description below so you can check them out for yourself. You also have in the back here some pages for other types of notes. All right, so once again, this was bound, and so I thought I'd give it a try because I like the look, I like the size, I liked that it didn't have the hourly breakdown, but still I did not like having to keep track of every single page. I liked these pages in the back, but I couldn't actually move them out of the back and into the weekly or the monthly views. So it didn't work out that well for me. Okay. So if you don't have a bound planner, then what are other options? My favorite is the disc bound system. And so my go-to for disc bound planners is the Happy Planner, or Mambi is also the brand name. And so in this case, this is make my own kind of planner / notebook, but there are 3 sizes of these Happy Planners. This is the big size. There's also the classic. And then finally, there's the mini. And so depending on if you're going to travel with your planner or you're going to keep it at home, if you carry a big backpack or purse with you, or you want to keep it small, you can pick which size to use. Now, I do recommend the classic size because it has a lot of space, but it's still not too big. But the mini is great for on-the-go notes. So if you want to have maybe a larger planner at home, and you can just travel this one with your purse or in your glove compartment and write down notes to transfer over to your main planner later on. It's up to you to decide if that's too inconvenient for you. Taking a look inside, here's a mini, and it's actually still created as a planner. The other ones are actually notebooks now. They're not planners because they ran out of dates. I've used them quite a while ago. But in this case, as you can see, you have the monthly layout with some notes on the side. And then you have the horizontal layout. I like that this one in particular has the space here that actually changes depending on the week, as you can see. So as you notice, there's very little space, but if you're someone who just has very short notes to use in your planner, or you want to use it just to write out what events and deadlines you have and not to-do lists, this could be a good option for you. All right. And then at the beginning of each month, you have this kind of layout too, a dashboard. There are many, many designs of the Happy Planners, and they all look quite different. So it's up to you to decide either at Michael's or at Joann's, or at the actual store online, the Mambi store, which design you want. Though I do recommend in particular Joann's and Michael's because they always have coupons available that you can use, or they're on sale. So again, this is the mini size. These are all metal discs. They usually come in plastic, but there are some that you could upgrade to metal discs, or you can buy that disc separate. I like them because they're a bit sturdier than the plastic ones. And so again, here's the mini. Here's a classic size, which if you compare, they're very similar. And then here's the big size, which again is very similar. And so what I like about these in particular is that you can actually move around the pages inside of it because it's a disc bound system. So for example, I have this note paper. Let's say I take notes here, but it matches something that I'm doing next month. I can easily take it out, go to the next month, and then I can place it back in. And so that's why, personally, I prefer the disc bound system because it's very easy to move around all of the note pages. Also, this particular company has a lot of accessories that you can also use. So for example, let's say you are someone who likes having the breakdown by time. They do have accessory packs like this one that you can buy and put into whatever size you're using. And again, there are dozens of designs here of these thinner types. Now, I do prefer the disc bound more than I do the Filofax, but there also is the option If you like this style more, you open it up and you have these rather than the disc. And so of course, this requires slightly more work to move around the pages, but it can be done. And so if you're someone who likes having a lot of flexibility in your order of pages and notes you put into it, I do recommend getting a planner that's not bound. So either the disc bound system or something like this, a Filofax, where you can actually use these and open them up. And so this is the recollections that I got at Michael's. And as you can see here, you have all the months down the side. Let's open it up. Okay, so for example, here's this design, October, with the notes on the right-hand side. And once again, it's a horizontal planner. Okay. And then here is the next month. And so it too has these dashboards as well. And so here's another example of one that with more flexibility. It does have space here for your ID, some credit cards. You can put a little notepad in here if you want to. There's space for a pen as well that's attached. So it is a good option as well. It's obviously, if you get it in on black, very easy to blend in with a professional look. Now, another example of a Filofax is this type. So this is actually bound by a zipper, which I also like because it allows you to keep some accessories inside that will not fall out like it would with the last example I showed. And so here again, there's space for 2 pens. This is also a recollections planner. And if you go in, I could show you October. They have the goals for October. They have the month at a glance. And then the horizontal layout. So obviously, this is another example of a very small amount of room to write in. So it's more for writing out events and deadlines than it is for writing out a to-do list. They do have different types of sections that you can use. They have the monthly ones, but they also have things like to-dos, right? And so you can look at the accessory packs as well if you're interested in something like this. And it comes with a lot of different styles too. And so once again, it's easy to travel with. You can put accessories in it and not have to worry about them falling out because they're zipped up. All right, so those were all the planners that I've used. You have the bound ones, the disc bound ones, and the Filofaxes. There are also the options of using a planner that wasn't designed to be a planner. So a regular notebook or a bullet journal, etc. And so I want to show you a few options there as well as far as the design goes. And so my first example is this one. And so this is the Traveler's Notebook. And so I actually got this cover at Michael's quite a while ago. I don't think they still sell them, but you can see other options at Joann's or Hobby Lobby or just Amazon, whatever the case may be. And so a Traveler's Notebook, the way this works is that there are 3 attachments, if you can see here, at the edge of this cover. And so I have 3 notebooks placed into this cover. And so this set actually came from Michael's. They're very inexpensive, and so you can get 3 at a time. And what I like about them is you have different design pages. So you have the grid here, then you have the dots, and then you have the blank pages. And so in this case, you can use traveling notebooks as planners in the sense that you can plan your projects in one notebook, you can plan all the events you have in another, you can take miscellaneous notes when you're at meetings in the third. Or you can use them, of course, however you'd like. This notebook comes with 3 elastic bands. There are tricks that you can use to add more. You can actually have 6 even in this one if you use a rubber band to kind of combine 2 together. And so there are plenty of options for this type as well. There are some that just have 1 elastic band. I recommend looking for ones that have more, at least 2 or 3 of them. And so here's another example of just being easily able to replace these notebooks as you finish filling them up, and you can keep the same outside look. And so if you like planning, but you don't like having the setup that comes with these planners that have the monthly layouts or vertical, horizontal, etc., you can always create your own using a bullet journal type of style in these traveler's notebooks. Now, if that too was still too many options for you, you want to make it simpler and simpler, then my recommendation is just using a regular notebook and choosing the size and design that you like. So for example, here's one, which is a pretty good size. I like this quote at the top of it. And inside, it's simply just notebook paper. And so you can find ones that are blank, ones that have lines, ones that have dots, ones that have grids, etc. And you can just fill it out as you would any regular notebook with either your to-do list or your project plans or whatever the case may be. So these are options for a bullet journal type of style, or just keeping it simple with writing down your notes for the day, maybe a daily planner that you write out. If you like something a bit smaller with more of a design, here's another one. And again, it's just a lined paper. So very simple, right? You can get, I got this at Barnes & Noble. They're obviously very easy to get at either Office Max or Michael's or Barnes & Noble, whatever the case may be. You can easily get them Target, even the dollar store, right? And so you can keep it simple if that's what works for you, if you like having the power of designing each of your spreadsheets. Now, before we move on to digital planners and notebooks, I did want to also say that you can actually go really creative. And I actually had a friend buy this for me as a gift. And so this is a left-handed notebook, which I had no idea these existed until she got it for me for my birthday. And so as you see here, you actually have the spiral on the right-hand side. And so when you open up this notebook, if you're left-handed, you don't have to worry about the spiral as you're writing because it's on the opposite side, and you can still take it out. And it looks like regular paper. It's just connected on the opposite side as usual. And so if you want something that's a bit more fit for even your handwriting, right? If you're left-handed, you can look at these options as well. And so obviously this one probably would have to be more of an online thing rather than finding it at a store, though you never know. But I just wanted to kind of include it because it is, again, a notebook. This is obviously very large in case you want to have more space. But it's actually very easy to write in as someone who's left-handed, and rather than having the annoying spirals to deal with as you write across on the left-hand side. All right, so those are the physical paper planners. So again, you have the notebooks as an option if you want to keep it simple and you want a bullet journal. Of course, blank pages will work well rather than lined if you actually want to design squares or circles or whatever the case may be when you're planning it out. Other than that, you could have the Filofax type, right? That's easy to move around the pages, though again, in my opinion, not as easy as the disc-bound systems. They allow you to easily move around whatever you're writing. Okay, and again, these come in different sizes. This is Happy Planners, but there are also brands as well that you can find. ARC notebooks also have this disc-bound design. And then finally, the ones that are bound. So the Passion Planner or just regular planners like this, they're once again easy to use too. So here are plenty of options to choose from if you like having a paper planner that you carry around with you. Okay? However, there are also the options of digital planners and notebooks, and that's what I wanted to get into next. I have my own that I've created, but I also have some examples of ones that are done by others that actually mimic the look of physical planners if that's what you want to keep having in your particular digital notebook or planner. So let's take a quick look. Okay, so let's say that you're someone who always travels with either an iPad or a tablet or even your smartphone. There's also the option for you to use either a digital planner or notebook in order to keep yourself organized. So rather than carrying an extra notebook, you can just carry the iPad that you're already using for your teaching or your note-taking, whatever the case may be. And so in that case, here are a few options that you can use. So I'm going to start with the ones that I've designed very simply. There's some free options and some paid ones before I move on to ones that mimic the style of a physical planner more closely. And so for example, here is a free sample notebook that I offer. This is the cover page. And as you move over, you notice that there's 3 sections and then a page for templates. And so if you use a digital notebook or planner, they tend to be hyperlinked, and then you're easy to use in a PDF annotator app. So this app is GoodNotes 4. And as you see, when I click on the tabs, they're each hyperlinked to go to a certain page in the PDF. And so in this case, you can have 3 sections of notes. So you can plan your months, for example, you can track certain things, you can project plan, etc. This free notebook also comes with 6 built-in templates. So you have here page templates of the 5 days of the week. Here's 4 days, or you can use it to habit track or track your meal planning, for example. Another one, here's one that's 5, 3, 2. Here's one with grid, and then a blank page that you can use to create your own templates. I have a whole video about how to create page templates that I'll link in the description box below. And so again, for just a free digital notebook, right, it's not a planner. I do have one that's a bit more advanced, and so this particular one has 6 sections that are all hyperlinked. And then the templates, as you can see, there are many more. So there are 37 rather than the 6. And so once again, you can use these in each of these sections to plan out your semester or whatever it is that you want to include in your notebook. I also have a portrait option. So in this case, there are 12 sections, so you can use very easily each section for a different month of the year. And once again, they're hyperlinked. And so these do not have templates built in, but there are blank pages for you to use to create your own templates. This one actually comes with the same type of notebook, only in the horizontal design. So as you can see here, it's the exact same notebook, just in the horizontal mode rather than the portrait mode. So these last ones that I showed you are the ones you pay for, but I also have on my website a couple free options that look more so like a planner if you like this design. And so for example, if you go to this one, you'll see here that there are also templates for you to use, but each tab is once again hyperlinked. And so in this case, this is December, and so you can use it and you can design it how you'd like. And so I do have built into each month these 6 squares. I usually do Monday through Friday, and then split the last one between Saturday and Sunday. There are also extra tabs here that you can use for note-taking. These are all blank. There's tabs here as well for project planning. These are also blank. And then this one takes you to the beginning of the PDF. And so if you do want one that looks like a planner, just to try it out, these are 2 free options, actually 3 free options that I have on my website that I will link below. There's no sign up required. You can just download them as a PDF and use them. Now the reason that I don't like these as much anymore is because while I like having the look of the planner or the notebook, there's not as much space when you have, for example, a whole blank page. And so I can actually cover this with text versus in the planner, I'm much more limited in how much text I can write. If that's not an issue for you, then of course I would recommend trying out a free version before you pay for one that also looks like a physical planner. However, if you're like me and you like having the space that you can write in either with a stylus or you can just write out notes using the text box function, then you might want to try to find either a planner or a notebook that has a lot of blank space for you to use. Okay? And so all of these options will be linked below. But if this option is something that you want to learn more about and you want to see ones that are more professionally designed, then you can go online and just look up digital planner or digital notebook and you'll come up with quite a few options. I do have a whole blog post with the ones that I recommend. And so just to show you one example, this is her Bohoberry is what she goes by. And so she has actually quite a few options for planners and notebooks on her digital shop. And so as you see here, these are actually more recently curated. We have the thin planner, undated, But then if you go down, you also have 3-month planners, and then you have full planners of the whole year. And so let's say we go into one of these and you look inside. As you can see here, we have a vertical layout of Sunday through Saturday. She also has options of different types of paper that you can actually add into the planner. She has certain looks that you can use, right? And so in this case, you'll see that there's different designs that she has included, and it obviously looks like a planner as well. And so if this is something that's interests you, you can check out her whole website. And again, she has a lot of options as far as individual things you can buy for your planner, or even just whole notebooks. And so here we go, an example, looking at the seam foam color scheme. And so this one has a different look. Okay, so this is one option for digital planners that you can buy as well that mimic the look of the planner. But as you can see here, if you look up digital planners, you can see plenty of options of which to buy. So let's randomly go to this one. Here we are on Etsy. And so here's a different design. All right, so there are a lot of options. The prices will vary quite heavily. And so I'll link below my blog post about the options I recommend. There are some who design one specifically for the academic year. For example, mine, this one was a regular January to December, but I do have the free option as well of an academic planner too. So on my website, this goes from July to June, and then I've already linked in 4 projects rather than having the blank tabs. Okay, so if you're someone who likes using the digital elements and apps rather than carrying around physical notebooks, then you might want to try this out. One reason I do highly recommend digital notebooks and planners is because you can just keep downloading them year after year. So if once you run out, for example, and you have a whole year in, let's say this example, well, you can just download the PDF again or copy it before you actually start writing into it. And now you have a whole new year ready to go because it's just a PDF rather than actually a physical planner where obviously once you fill it out, you must go out and buy another one. So if you're someone who likes to obviously save on how much you spend on notebooks or on planners, then you might want to consider how a digital planner can really meet your needs. But again, it depends if you're someone who travels with an iPad, a tablet, or a large enough smartphone to make it worth your while to use a digital planner rather than a physical one. So it might be better to carry the extra weight if you know that you're not going to be someone who travels with your digital devices pretty constantly. All right, so those are some options of either a planner or notebook that you can use throughout the year. I do recommend figuring out, do you want a physical one or do you want a digital one? And if so, what type of bound system do you want? I do recommend the disc bound system. And if you're going digital, figuring out, do you need an app that you're gonna pay for, or is there a free one that you can use to work with your digital planner? I recommend GoodNotes, but there are free ones like Zoom Notes Lite. And then also, do you want one that mimics the look of a physical planner very closely, or do you want one that has more space for you to actually write in? And so in the description box below, I'll have links to all the things I talked about today, and also to the blog post where I have more recommendations of digital planners that mimic the look of real ones. If you found this video helpful, I would appreciate you clicking the like button below, and please do subscribe to my channel in case you want more information on teaching tips for new college instructors, but also on just general tips of, surviving the academic life. So next week, I'm actually going to have the first of 2 parts talking about how to balance all these activities that you'll be placing in your planner or your notebook. And so I'm going to start by talking about how to balance your teaching with your other responsibilities, such as coursework. So I'll see you then.